Hello and welcome to the YouTube channel of Anomaly Researchers UK.
Hello again, everyone. This is my first video that really mentions the subject of ghosts and apparitions. As many of you will know, I started out life in the field of paranormal study, back in 2004-2005-ish, as what is termed as a ghost hunter, or paranormal investigator if you want to sound slightly more sophisticated. So, anyway, let's have a look at this story. This is a story that BBC News ran back in 2013, just in time for the Halloween period, and was penned by Willie Johnson, and the subject matter was the A75, on the Kinmount Strait, in southern Scotland. The heading reads, and I quote, "Trip on most haunted road. It is reputedly the most haunted highway in Scotland." The A75 in Dumfriesshire is said to have had more reports of supernatural activity than any other road in the country. Now, a Dumfries-based group of paranormal investigators collated the stories for a ghostly Halloween road trip. The Kinmount Strait, on the road, is the most notorious spot for sightings. John Hill, of Mostly Ghostly Paranormal Investigators, said that so much has happened at this spot. A quick search of the internet would bring up the A75 as the most haunted road in Scotland and some say, Britain. There are so many different things have happened on this road and have been seen by so many different people, as well. Mr. Hill and Mostly Ghostly founder Kathleen Croney have researched the road's supernatural history to compile the first ever ghost coach to my coach. They have some SPI chilling accounts to relate, too. It doesn't matter if you blame it onto just imagination, or fact, it certainly affected Bob Sturgeon, former A75 snack bar owner. There have been screaming hags, eyeless phantoms and a menagerie of unearthly creatures witnessed on this famous road, said Ms. Croney. She said one of the most infamous sightings was made by Derek and Norman Ferguson, in 1962. They were driving along here, and the whole incident began with a large hen flying towards the windscreen of their car, she said. They then witnessed great cats and various other creatures, as well as witnessing a phantom furniture van, which is a bit unusual to say the very least. Bob Sturgeon lives at the side of the A75, and used to run a roadside snack van at Carrutherstown, near to the sighting hotspot. There was very rarely a week went past without somebody telling me about some experience, and usually along that Kinmount Strait, he said. His cafe was a frequent early morning refuge for traumatized lorry drivers who had parked overnight in nearby lay-bys. They weren't the kind of people who would talk to each other, he explained. They were long-distance drivers, and they were well separated, so it wasn't as if there was a group of them gathered in a pub and passed these spooky stories around. Most of these sightings were all just individual experiences. A common sighting was of groups of dejected, bedraggled people, pulling handcarts, or carrying bundles like some medieval camp followers. One man was so shocked, he gave up lorry driving altogether, and Mr. Sturgeon never saw him again. He had been parked on the Kinmount Strait, and he had woken up at about 3 in the morning when he saw this parade of people, he said. He said that it went on for ages, and he had just frozen with fear. He was in an awful state. It doesn't matter if you blame it on imagination, or fact, or whatever, it certainly affected him badly. Documented reports of ghosts on this road go back at least 50 years. As well as seeing assorted animals, horsemen and carriages, some drivers have been convinced they have run over people. Phantom figures of men, women, couples emerging from the dark. End quote. So that is basically the story. I'm sure if you want to find out a bit more about this, there will be other bits and bobs about it to be found on the net, but that's all I have for you at this time. Thank you for listening. Please get in touch if you have a strange story, whether it is a ghost story, or another subject that we cover on this channel. We can turn into a video, just like this one. Feel free to leave a comment below. Until next time then, I bid you farewell.